These companies are under huge financial stress. As you know, they've already been coping with a relatively low price environment for 4 or 5 years. They'd already compressed costs, and I'm not speaking just about Suncor, but other producers here in Alberta. And now, have I heard from other companies? No. But I don't think any of us should be surprised if there are additional layoffs from other companies that are hemorrhaging cash right now. I would implore them to do everything they can to keep their workforce intact, to recognize that they've made big profits in the past for their shareholders based on the hard work of those employees, and to understand that we will get through this, that global demand will recover and there will be a supply shortage, as almost everyone projects, as we move into 2021. 2022. So and we want to work with them to ensure that workforce stays intact as much as possible. What do we ask the federal government to do? First and foremost, do no harm. Specifically, please hit the pause button on the clean fuel standards, which could add $3 to $5 per barrel in the cost of production for Canadian producers when they're already struggling to attract capital. Please hit the pause button on these C-69 environmental assessments, which are creating more investor uncertainty at the worst possible time. One in particular is being applied to Suncor's application for expansion of its base mine. If we want that project to go forward when the energy economy has come back to balance, then we can't tell them to wait for 10 years. Please hit the pause button on legislative ratification of UNDRIP. The Supreme Court finally, after 30 years of jurisprudence, gave us clarity on what is the Crown's duty to consult under Section 35 of the Constitution Act on Indigenous consultation. Let's allow that new judicial certainty to be the norm for a while before moving to prior and informed consent, which could grant a veto to tiny minority groups that are opposing development supported by the majority of Indigenous communities. Those are just some of the things that could be. And please speed up approvals. As I said, TC Energy was hoping to create thousands of high-paying construction jobs this summer through its expansion of the Nova Gas transmission line, but that has now been delayed by at least a year because of delays with the federal regulator. And that's cost us 8,000 jobs in the middle of an economic crisis. And by the way, it also means the continued bottlenecking in our natural gas market, which means a glut, which means low prices, which could lead to the failure of some of our gas companies with further layoffs and reductions in government revenue. Why? All because a federal regulator, even in the midst of a crisis, could not move at the speed of business. So my message is, please work with us on these things. You know, it'd be nice to also to get that fiscal stabilization payment, but none of the other items I mentioned would cost the federal government a dime.